Christ and Noel, welcome back to the latest installment of Fearless and Devotion. Thank you for tuning in as always. And this wonderful episode, as ever, is sponsored by our good friends at the Fat Boar in York Street in Wrexham. So much love to them as always. We're recording this day after another relentless home win for Wrexham, 2-0 against AFC Wimbledon. Andy, remind me, last week we were both, I think most of us were in agreement about, do we offer James McLean and Stephen Fletcher another year's deal? I think we were kind of like, maybe not, maybe not. They were both unbelievably good against Wimbledon. Has that changed your mind, or are you just very much, they've still got to go?
I am. I wouldn't give them new deals. No, I thank them for all they've done. Fletcher's touch of class yesterday, but we really didn't do much in the first half, and McLean and Fletcher were involved in that too, rather than just the cameo in the second half. Now, Fletcher, touch of class. I think I was sort of listening to Luke Williams say how he always plays a short corner because no one ever scores from corners. Well, that's 2 home games in two that Fletcher scored from a corner. So, yeah, screw you, Luke. But on top of that, we didn't really force the issue as much as we should have in the first half. I think Luton passed around us quite a bit. They blew this, their 14 dictated the game. They blew themselves out a little bit. Didn't have a striker. It could have been a lot different if they did have their two-star strikers. We could have been a few goals down. And
did you just refer to AFC Wimbledon as Luton, or did my ears deceive me?
God. I've done that. I did that a few times yesterday.
Well, we're not there yet. We're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
I know we played them a lot in recent years, but yeah, because like Wimbledon sounds dead like Luton. I don't know how you got that.
It's very much a similar place. Yeah, I don't know where Wimbledon stops. Oh, the Luton International Tennis Tournament is the is the envy of the world. But McLean gets better as the game goes on. He always does. I can't really work it out. I don't know if he works out his opponents. I just don't know if he's got superhuman sort of fitness levels. But towards the end of the game, he's the one always forcing the issue. Right, that's great. But really and truly, I think if we're going to play the 3-5-2 formation in League One, we need specialised people in each position. And I'm not sure McLean is still, he's not a wing back. So I wouldn't give them new deals, and I would get similar players of similar experience, but maybe just that League One, maybe a little bit younger or from a higher level to replace what they give.
Short answer, a double no. Liam, where do you stand on keeping the two? I think Humphrey Carr referred to them on Instagram as the two old grandfather clocks of the racecourse.
That's a good one. I think he's slightly older, isn't he, Fletcher? But I'd probably actually give him another year. I think he's still got a role to play, even if it's cameos off the bench or whatever it is. I mean, you can tell Wrexham are spoiled lately when Andy Gilpin is worrying about who we're going to be playing in League One.
I've had a bad start to this, haven't I? I've called Wimbledon Luton, and I've said we're already going to get promoted. Right, okay, fair enough.
Something's happened to you. What's happened to you? Tell us all about your kind of Jeff Bezos Amazon jolly because obviously last week you told us that you're coming to the game as normal, but as a kind of like Trojan horse Wrexham fan under the guise of a journalist with other journalists on behalf of our Amazonian friend.
Yeah. It was really good. Fair play. We met a couple of journalists in Euston, got a first-class train up. Obviously not the crew to Wrexham bits because they don't do first class there. Got up there. It was a table of about 11 journalists and PRs. They all tried the Wrexham lager, varying degrees of if anyone carried it on past that first pint, but a few of them enjoyed it. Food-wise, the starter wasn't amazing. It was a couple of pieces of scampi on a few lettuce leaves with a dollop of mayonnaise.
You got it for free.
Yeah, I know, but if I'd have paid for it, I'd have gone. Right, the main was a lot better, like a Nando's sort of style marinated chicken. The chicken was really good, actually better than Nando's. A lot more sort of meat on it, really.
What?
Yeah,
better than Nando's. Well, we need to backtrack here because, Wrexham FC fishcake champion Aled Roberts will not be happy that the fact that you've kind of turned your nose up at free scampi and slagged it off, and then dived into headlong to say that the marinated chicken was better than you get at our Portuguese chicken giant Nando's. Is that really true?
Right, I'm going to show you a picture of this scampi.
Oh,
Is this normally on the menu, or is this just for the Bezos lot? I mean,
I don't know. I mean,
I like the way you're ostracizing our blind following by showing us all a picture.
We're lucky to get a turd sandwich in the Mold Road. So what's that? I can't see that.
Yeah, for
Do you know how cameras work?
For audio descriptive purposes, that does look horrendous, to be honest, to me.
That looks like a meal I saw on Red Dwarf where the Savoy like crawled off the table.
Okay, so you know where I'm coming from there. You know where I'm coming from. But what I'm trying to say is the chicken brought it back. The chicken was nice, some nice skinny fries with it. And there was a chocolate dome while I listened to the dulcet tones of Andy Thackeray telling us about the start of the Flynn golden generation being compared by Pete Jones. So, it was everyone really enjoyed that part of it. I don't think they enjoyed the first half as much.
They're a bunch of moaning bastards. But that's all the only conclusion I can come to.
It was moaning.
I think it's rubbed off on you as well. It's like, oh yeah, this 2-0 win was very cabaret. Didn't particularly enjoy it.
Great. It wasn't great. Come on, the first half wasn't great, was it?
This free scampi, what's this all about?
I mean, we kind of like
free scampi. Someone had to pay for it. And what I'm saying is that a good deal? Is that a great deal if you're match sponsors and you're getting that on a plate? Come on, is it?
Right. Anyway, enough of your culinary cuisine freebies. Let's go back to the match. You mentioned there that the first half wasn't that great, but was it really as bad as everybody's making out to be? Because some of the fume that was emanating off social media, even now, really, even despite the win, was the suggestion that it was so bad, we were so off the pace, blah blah. I was like, yeah, we went at 100%, but as time goes on, it just seems to be that we're more of a second half team anyway, and people will say, well, it's going to bite us in the ass at some point. Well, it hasn't yet.
Right. What I think about this is I think that's probably the biggest away following that Wimbledon have had this season. They want to impress them. They want to go all guns blazing for the first 20, 30 minutes. You almost have to weather a storm, even though you're at home, because they want to really impress. And they sort of saw that the way that people beat us is a high press. They tried it. They didn't really have the personnel to do it. Either the strikers who could close down or finish. And I think after that, we took control of the game. But I do sort of feel that we will come a cropper every now and again. But I think we will in this league anyway. I mean, we're not gonna go unbeaten to the end of the season. We are gonna lose some. Mansfield looked far and away the best team, and now have been reeled back. Stockport looked like they were going to run away with it, but haven't. It is a lot more even, and it's not a disaster if you lose something, if you lose a game here and there. So I think we will come a cropper at one point, but we as long as we bounce back, who really cares?
Liam, there's been a little bit mention about the atmosphere and supposed not as good as recent times. A few people have pointed out that, because we had to be so on it last year and the relentless nature of it, kind of buoyed people's kind of joviality and wanting to get behind the team at every opportunity. I mean, there's like a zillion factors why an atmosphere can be a little bit flat, whether that's reflecting on the pitch or reflecting in the stands and vice versa. Do you think it was as bad as many are making out? I didn't think it was that bad. There's lulls, but there's always lulls, isn't there?
I think there's always an element with Wrexham at home for as long as I can remember where it's a sort of you entertain us and then we'll do a bit of singing for you type of thing. People want to see, people get a bit impatient if we're not playing the best football from the off. And it's not like people are quiet all the game. Fair play to the lads in the corner of the tech end. They're always trying to get an atmosphere going. The PG7 lot, they're always trying. I do think there's the odd lull, but there is a certain proportion of the crowd where I think they're just waiting for us to score before they really get behind the team. And I don't know, I think it's probably exaggerated a little bit, like you say, like about the first half performance. People get impatient quite easily. And I think there were even times, not as much last season, but remember when Humphrey Carr had to come on here before the Chesterfield game and give fans a bit of a rallying cry. So I think we've got that tendency, but I certainly don't think it's dreadful by any stretch. And I'm bored as fuck with that football in a library chant as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, the only thing I picked up on social media was a few people were saying that they tried to get some singing going in the temporary cop stand and were just like glared at with like disdain, like, what are you doing? I think that's primarily because that stand is essentially the kind of the pickup of
The
fans
overflow.
that haven't really maybe had the chance. So they're still maybe acclimatizing to that, and as well as your old guard that wanted to do a bit of singing, and even you younger fans or whatever. There's a bit of a mix. So I think it's still a bit of work in progress, but I thought the Mill Road stand pitched in with a bit of singing. I thought it was all right, and I just think sometimes where there's this weird kind of feel that what you said, entertain us and we'll give something back. I'm not sure that it should be the other way around. Maybe I think it's probably the best way of doing it, but. You know what? It'll come good in some of the bigger games, and that's no disrespect to Wimbledon. It just felt a bit one of those kind of games.
Felt a run-of-the-mill game, didn't it?
A little bit. And there was nowhere near as much pre-match excitement amongst people in the pubs around the time. It was just like, let's get this one out of the way, because then we got 3 trips on the road, big games, really. Newport, Blackburn, Salford. So
those 3 games, the crowd will be there for the team.
Yeah,
because we are there when the team need it. Yeah. And I think it was the same on Shrewsbury. When they needed it, our voices were heard. So I do sort of feel that it's quite hard because there is an expectation level now, and I do sort of think that a lot of people coming through the turnstiles, and I mean there was 12,000 there. Then they haven't been Wrexham fans for that long, or weren't regulars before that, and may have changed from a Premier League club to come and watch Wrexham because the team is doing so well, and that's brilliant. That's exactly what we want, is to try and turn some of those Premier League fans to our fans. But they do sort of feel that Wrexham should win, and maybe they should, as Liam say, sit there and be entertained. And I think if Wimbledon would have gone 1-0 ahead, or if we'd have gone down to 10 men or something like that, the crowd would have kicked in. They didn't need to. They didn't need to at that point.
We need to discuss AFC Wimbledon's on loan Kylie Minogue, Mr. Joe Lewis, who born in Neath, played for Swansea, goes to Stockport loan him out to Wimbledon on a season-long loan. Now, if you haven't been to the game or you don't know what we're talking about, Joe Lewis, centre back for Stockport, had the shortest of budgie smuggler shorts on you've ever seen in your life. Basically, gold hot pants, hence the Minogue thing. Before I get your thoughts in, Andy, got a question from Jason Lewis, no relation, by the way, and he's asked this. In relation to Joe Lewis, does wearing age 12 shorts breach EFL regulations? Female fans have advised the shorts went tighter during the game, and it was feared or possibly hoped by some quarters a repeat of lengthy injury time, such as the Barrow game, would have seen Joe Lewis pull him even tighter and leave the field in nothing more than a G-string. I look forward to the assessment of the podcast team. Lastly, for the record, he's no relation to me. So, Liam is now holding a picture of. I mean, I'll be honest. If I had an ass I could crack walnuts with, I'd probably show it off as well.
He's got some flies on him, that boy. Fair play.
Yeah, but if you're going to show off your cheeks, be half decent. And I'm not really sure he was, to be honest.
He could have been done for indecent exposure, to be honest. The way he was going on, he was getting a lot of wolf whistles from the PG7.
Yeah, I love that. I love the chant. I could see what he had for his lunch, and it wasn't scampi. But it was a bit of a talking point, wasn't it? I mean, it was the sort of thing everyone around me noticed almost straight away. And yeah, the chant in the second half, every time he got the ball, people just wolf whistled him. I think he quite liked that, didn't he? I mean, I would. I don't think there's any harm in it, is there? Also, can I just say, I love the Wimbledon kit. You're a kit connoisseur. I thought I thought
I mean,
the jersey was
I said
fantastic.
their trio of kits this year is amazing, but that kit combo is horrendous.
Shorts ruin it.
So off gold shorts and socks with that amazing old school hark back to 1998 shirt when we played in the FA Cup. Great, but yeah, that was a strange.
Did you see their
kit
pre-match
combo.
like track tops as well? That was pretty old school, weren't they?
Yeah, that makes Umbro do good stuff. So Umbro, if you're listening and you want to do a pitch to the club, go bold. That's all I'm saying.
Just give us normal size shorts though, if you do.
I mean, he had normal size shorts.
Age 12 shorts for Andy because he's not really said that it was against EFL rules. We're just going to assume as a podcast team that he managed to fit it literally within the boundaries of his own dimensions as well as that of any EFL rule that may exist in regards of tight fitting shorts. So fair play, Joe Lewis. I'm sure Stockport will welcome you back with open arms.
No, he's signed permanent now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he signed permanent before the game. I was
There
looking. You do that, you do that thing where you knew there were a couple of players down, and so I was just like monitoring their Twitter all Friday to see if they brought anyone in, and I was really pleased they hadn't. So, you remember Davison in the away game? So their number 9 warmed up in a full kit, like a 1-to-1 training, all for 15 minutes of half time, and I went, "Oh, he's coming on straight away, isn't he?" Didn't come on for the whole game. I felt a little bit sorry for him. He's done all that sort of full kit training and didn't make it. And to be honest, he wasn't brilliant yesterday. And I thought the 16 was even worse. To be honest,
he missed the sitter, and I think Max again was brilliant. Just 4 clean sheets in 6 games since he's come into the squad.
Max was brilliant. Max was my shout for man of the match. I thought he did really well. There was a couple of vital interceptions in the first half, and he just won his duels. I mean, it's really good to see a young defender like that, because centre-halves don't really mature until they're 24, 25. But he's a cultured centre-half who is now bringing that to his game, because we all knew he was a ball player. We all knew he could step out with it and was comfortable. But if you can actually bring that steel to your game, I really think we've got a player there. And as I keep saying, it's so good to have an academy graduate doing well, because if we're rebuilding the centre of excellence, you can show all the parents in North Wales that by sending their kid to Wrexham rather than Everton or Liverpool, they have a clear path to the first team. And I think as we develop, that's going to be really important. We just need a training ground now, please.
Yes, we do. Okay. Paul Mullin, he's now into double figures for league goals this campaign. I think even he won't probably admit he's not been at his prolific best after last season. It's always going to be a tough ask, really. But does it really matter? Because Fox in the box, he probably should have done better with that header to get a second. But the ball goes over him for the first. He turns and spins, take advantage of a defensive error, volleys at home. I mean, I'm always inclined to say you just have him on the pitch anyway.
He's such a crucial part of the team, and I don't know if it's his previous exploits, but I just think when you look at the context of what happened to him pre-season, that's going to take something out of you. The fact that he's into double figures at this stage in the season is actually really good, all considered. And he's still got that instinct, to pounce on that defensive error. Yes, it was a gift, but I don't know, there was still some work left to do to score it. And I just think even Paul Mullin at, like say 75% capacity, that type of thing, he's still a pest. He's still a nuisance. He's still running the ball down. He's just absolutely central to everything that we do. And another thing I'd say as well is I don't think the service has been particularly great to him as well recently. Can you think of many other than the chance you mentioned? I don't feel like there were that many he had really. So, I think he's doing well, all considered.
Yeah, no, it's can't really argue with it, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, and now a good week's break for him all, and we'll go again on Saturday. But in terms of moving away from the strikers into midfield,
sorry, can I just say one thing about Mullin? It's just even the sort of the threat or the notion of him is important to us. So having him on the pitch means that their defenders don't want to give him any space because he's Paul Mullin and he can hurt you. So even if he's tying up one or two defenders, that allows the likes of Fletcher or, I don't know, Cannon or Lee to have more space. He's worth it. No, I think we all know that he's not last season's Paul Mullin yet because of the preseason disruption. But, you know, he is still our talisman. He is still the guy who works the centre halves more than anyone else. And, you know, that work rate is there. One of the guys I was with yesterday said, oh, well, Mullin's just like a fox in the box, is he? He just like pops up and scores. And I went, no, look at him. Look at the runs he makes. Look at the people he ties up. Look at the way he angles his body when the ball comes towards him to get a free kick or to steal a march from the centre halves. Every one of those centre halves knows they've been in a game, and the Blackburn ones later on in the month will because he'll up his game again for that. Because he wants to prove how good he is. Yeah,
no, definitely. Andy, you would have been closer to the Andy Cannon injury. It was down the far end. I'm obviously limped off with the help of a couple of the medical staff. What we're thinking? There's been no updates yet that I'm aware of. I've not seen any update on his injury. What was your take on it?
My take was a shame because I think Cannon were actually seeing the player that we bought. I mean, I was the first person to say I don't think he was giving us enough when he first came. I don't know if it was injuries or confidence or just needed a run in the team. I think it was hard for him to play the holding defensive role because that's not his game. He's a guy, and you can tell that now, he's a guy who wants to get the ball and break the lines. A lot like Lee, but maybe a little bit more solid than Lee is. But, you know, he runs with it. He takes the ball forward. So it's a massive shame that he's injured now because he seems to get a run and then get an injury and you'll almost have to start again. I do actually think that Lee's been off the boil a little bit. So there are some concerns about the midfield. I think George had a great game yesterday, and after Cleworth, I would have put George as my second man of the match just because some of the touches, you can just tell he knows what he's going to do with it. A lot of times, a midfielder that we've had before, maybe in the non-league games, would have to control it and then think about what he's going to do with it. George knows exactly what he wants to do with it as the ball is on its way to him, and just the way he sort of glides and moves his body to play that pass to keep us going. You know, you can tell he's class. So if you take Andy out the equation for a couple of weeks, leaves us just James Jones. I don't know about Jordan Davis. I don't know if he's fit at the moment.
Somebody mentioned he was in a protective boot by all accounts. I don't know.
Okay. Well, we might need to bring a midfielder in, but what's wrong with us maybe bringing someone in on loan?
Yeah, and let's just say, because I think Parky said there are irons in the fire, but he's in no immediate rush. Whether that changes now because of the midfield situation, isn't it kind of annoying? Because my understanding is now all of our injured centre halves are back and training. Great. However, when your defence is looking more solid than it has done in recent months, you know, where that's settled, we've got ball playing centre halves either side of Tozer now. Tom O'Connor looks great. Cleworth looks great. You just can't. I can't see where Tunnicliffe, O'Connell, or Hayden go straight back in there. I just don't see it. Whether he changes it for the FA Cup, I just don't know. Obviously, we've got a game before then, but yeah, surely that you know that's one of the priority areas now, isn't it? Midfield. If Cannon is allowed him in.
Yeah, definitely now. Bring a midfielder in. If you get another defensive crisis, you can still move George Evans back there, can't you? There is that adaptability. I would definitely bring a midfielder in. If I could bring anything in, it would be a midfielder and a striker. I think long-term Barnett will come in ahead of Ford. I thought Ford didn't have a great game yesterday. He seemed to lack a bit of pace, but I think Ford is very useful away from home because he's just more solid and he spots danger a lot more than Ryan does. But at home, Barnett for me is the way that you make that formation work better because you're on the front foot all the time. So yeah, I would expect Ryan to come in at home. I think we probably need someone to replace to replace Cannon now and a striker. They would be the two positions I would look for. I don't know. I mean, who's been mooted? Still a lad from Peterborough. Do we know much about him?
I think Clark Harris, isn't it? What's his first name?
Jordan, I think.
Is it Jordan? It's not Jordan, is it?
No, I don't think it is.
Johnson, isn't it?
Yeah, Johnson, Clark Harris.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is it Luton? Luton, Clark Harris. Everything's Luton today.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of, obviously Peterborough have said on record that he's one of two players they're willing to cash in on. He hasn't signed personal terms with Charlton yet. Apparently, and I'm only going on what I've heard, and we all know that Parky has a kind of dickhead test, and if you don't pass, well, if you're a dickhead, you ain't coming in. Apparently, he's not the most affable chap, shall we say? Allegedly, I don't know, never met him, but I don't know what our thoughts are on that. Obviously, decent striker.
He's 30 at the end of the year, you know.
Yeah, well, I think Humphreys as well was mentioned from Sheffield Wednesday. They're looking to recruit, which would free him up.
Humphreys, not Gregory. Humphreys, yeah.
Gregory, yeah. Sorry, I don't know where I got Humphreys from.
We're doing great today for
I'm thinking of Richie Humphreys from about like 1990 and played for Hartlepool as well. No, Gregory, but he's another golden oldie, isn't he? Sort of in that range. Ronan Hale from Cliftonville has been mentioned. Hot shots.
That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, because obviously we've got a strong Irish contingent now.
Very,
yeah. And that lends itself to an enticement on top of everything else. You know, if you go there with a strong Irish contingent and you know some of those faces, then I think that could sway it if we were to look at a young striker who can score goals for fun. I mean, I don't know how strong the sort of Northern Irish kind of league is. But he looks good. He looks good.
I'm getting, you know what? I'm getting Trundle vibes from him because we got Lee Trundle from the Welsh League because he started the season on fire. Yeah. So, you know, Trundle, as we all sort of know, had all the talent but needed to get his head right. And he had to go to maybe something like the League of Wales and think, right, I actually want to make it as a footballer. So he did. He did everything right for real. He scored a shit ton of goals and we took him on and never really looked back. I've got the same sort of feeling with this Ronan Hale. He's the same sort of age. He's about 24, 25. He's tried it over here with Birmingham City, didn't quite make it. But this season for Cliftonville, he's been absolutely fantastic. And he's not just a goal scorer. He seems to be, you know, more of a complete player. And it doesn't matter what league you're in, really. If you're scoring goals and you're confident and the striker who's made that breakthrough from you know, I don't know, a 10-goal a season striker to someone like 16 in 20, you know, that's the sort of player you want to bring in. I would prefer that than Clark Harris, because I just think there's more mileage in him. You've got another, you know, he's 25. You've got a lot more time.
Did you apply that excitable thought process when we signed Billy Waters, who is now gone on loan to Doncaster Rovers?
I'm going to be honest, I didn't.
I've always liked Ronan's work, though. Like, Life is a Roller Coaster. That was a banging one, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, another name going around yesterday was defensive, but Corey Whelan from Carlisle United, defender. We seem to be still getting linked with a lot of
Dobson as well. George Dobson, is it?
Yeah. They're still getting linked with a lot of them.
Defensive midfielder. Yeah. Defensive mid, sorry, defender.
Yeah, because it was said we were looking at we basically put out that we wanted potentially 2 centre-backs, a midfielder and a striker. Now, I don't think we're going to sign all of those, but it'd be interesting to see how the priorities move as the transfer window goes along, because like you say, we're in a position where centre-backs are coming back into fitness. Does the focus then move higher up the pitch? I'd probably argue so, definitely.
Charlie Savage, I got a little bit of pelters for my tweet, especially the bit about his nan lives close by.
Well, she does. She does. She lives in Wrexham.
And people like that. He's not going to fucking sign just because his nan lives 2 miles away. It's like, well, I would. Yeah. Not for his nan. My nan was still here. And I was I'd love to come closer back to them.
Wasn't he seen at Sunwar in Gwersel? He was seen as the local Chinese.
Look, Robbie Savage suddenly followed us when that came in, so I was expecting some sort of like angry kind of voice message or something. It hasn't happened.
All right, pal.
Yeah, how you doing, mate? Yeah, but I, you know what? It's not beyond the realms of possibility because it's Wrexham, isn't it? And you just
Do we
never
need
know.
him? What is he? He's an attacking mid,
Midfielder.
yeah.
Midfielder.
Yeah, attacking mid. Yeah,
But
you know what? Reading are in the mud. They're struggling. They need to sell some of their better players. Derby are supposed to be rumoured on Stockport in for him, so be interesting. Be interesting to see what comes of it. I'm not saying it's completely out of the realms of possibility at all. So there we are. Anyway, yeah, transfers galore. Let's hope we've got some news. Let's hope by the time we're on this pod that the cut-off point for Arsenal to recall Arthur Okonkwo has passed, because I think somebody mentioned to me that it's tomorrow.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
is that right?
That's the last point they can recall him. Yeah.
Another son, just strong game yesterday. Just claims everything and just makes everything look easy, doesn't it? He's like a nice weighted blanket over that defense, just nice and comfy and safe. You know, just good, isn't it?
He gave you a cuddle.
We've not had many of those in the last 10 years, have we? Keepers who will make the right decisions and make key saves when they have to. And you don't worry about them. You don't worry about them at all. You just sort of think, right, if he does make a mistake, that is once in a blue moon and he won't make it again. And that fella will get better and better the more games he plays. Because, to be honest, he's a young lad and he hasn't played that many games. I just hope he feels at home where he is. He knows that we love him. He knows that the club want him, and he knows that club is going places. And I think as a project, he's still young enough to go and give this a go. Have a clause in his contract if a championship club wants him as their number one. By all means, we're not eating at that table yet. We if we put $2 million release fee to a championship team, I think that's what you have to do. But you just got to hope that he sees this as a project he wants to be involved in, and we get a player who will nail a position for a number of years. I'd be made up to get him. I think he's absolutely brilliant. I love him.
Well, he knows I love him because I love him for the medium of song. However, we will come back. We will come back to that because I have to work my way up to it because I wasn't expecting to do this one. I'll tell you the reason for that shortly. But we'll come back to him very, very soon. Let's kind of rewind stroke fast forward in terms of the FA Cup game. I know that's still a week or two away, 2 weeks away. I'm going to come to Liam first because Andy represents a large proportion of the social media fuming fan base on BBC Wales's decision. And it is the broadcaster's decision. It's not the club's, it's not Blackburn, and it's not Wrexham's fault, right? This is purely down to the broadcaster. That is fact. Okay, clarified that with Humphrey Carr when I bumped into him in M&S yesterday. So that is.
I'm sending Rob Phillips a shit in the post.
Hang on.
Don't do that. He'll never come back on.
I want to hear more about Humphrey Carr in M&S. Was it M&S Foods?
He was in M&S.
What was in his basket?
He had a three-piece tweed suit on, and he was looking for something in particular that wasn't there, and he was like asking various
a swan,
not a swan, but he was very chatty. He's very happy.
Scampi on lettuce.
Yeah, scampi on lettuce on a plate, followed by a chocolate bomb and some wonderfully marinated chicken that's better than Nando's, allegedly. Anyway, Liam, I'm going to come to you first because I think Andy's very much we know he's very much in the against how dare you BBC Wales camp for daring to change it to Monday, January the 29th at 7:30 p.m, the same day as my mother's birthday, bless her. So I'm going to have to take her. And I'm very much on the fence of we need to put our big boys' pants on and look at this in a different light. However, as the mediator, where do you sit in on this?
What the bloody hell's just happened here?
Gilpin is now. Why? And Andy Gilpin, if you're listening through the medium of your earphones, is now showing us a picture of what appears to be sheep shit and mustard on a plate. No offense to the catering staff.
I think the catering staff should be offended by that. Look, as I say, it was a bad start to a really good meal, and like it was it was a great day. Can I just underline that? But I've just found it on my WhatsApp. I thought I'll share the screen for it so you can get the full.
Everything's supposed to taste better when it's free, and you're still complaining about it. But there we go.
But yeah, but you know my point about that. Yeah, it's free for me, but it's someone still has to pay for it. You know,
talking about it.
We're going back to the mediator here, Liam.
Oh,
Blackburn Rovers away, 7:30. Where do you stand on this as a young father of one boy?
sorry, he's killed me there. He's distracted me. I'm probably more Team Gilpin, but for again, sort of, I guess, selfish reason. There was 5 of us due to be going in the first place, and it now looks like we're probably down to 2 out of my mates who are going to be going. I was looking to see if there was anywhere. I'm not saying Blackburn's the best drinking place in the world, but I was looking to see if there's anywhere we could go beforehand, planning a bit of a day of it. I was hoping if they did move it, it would be the Saturday 5:30 like they did with Coventry. Gives you a good amount of time to sort of plan your day out. So yeah, I'll be honest, it did piss me off a bit on Friday. I'm still planning to go myself. I've still got another mate who's planning to go along. We did Sheffield United on was that Tuesday, wasn't it, last season for the replay? So we'll still go. I think everyone will still have a good time and make a sing-song of it. I just think it's going to be difficult for younger fans, that type of thing. People trying to get up from Wrexham immediately after work, after school, via the M6, M56. It's going to be a bit ropey, I think.
Right, let's bring it on to Andy live from St. Petersburg because he needs 2 fucking days off to factor in Blackburn away.
Mate. It's 4 hours there, 4 hours back.
Yeah, that's last time I checked. That's 8:16. That's a quarter of a day in total.
All right. I mean, I start work at 7 a.m, so I probably wouldn't get home until about 2, and then I'd have
take half a day. So take half a day.
I can't take half a day, to be honest.
This is because you're a pisshead and you're trying to factor in the booze, aren't you?
Look, it doesn't matter. I mean, I was really looking forward to it. I thought it would be one of our best weekends away this season. A new ground for most of us, a really big away end. We could have taken over that. They would have probably cut prices a little bit, so it probably would have been a full house. So I'm surprised that Blackburn. Well, we know it's not their fault, but how much power do BBC Wales really have? And can they tell Blackburn you have to play it at this time, and Blackburn go, oh, okay, fair enough. There's nothing else we can do. Because for me, Blackburn shouldn't agree to that because they're taking thousands and thousands off the attendance. I do sort of think in the background, is it BBC Wales or is it ESPN? Are ESPN more keen to get it at this time? So it goes, it sort of hits transatlantic around about lunchtime. I don't know. I'm just, I was angry on Friday. I really was, because I just wanted it to, all my mates had sort of planned how we were going to get up there, where we were going to stay, how much we're really going to enjoy it. And now it's a sort of, I might have to just drive up on my own if I go at all, or I have to watch it on TV. I just think it's a shame. I also think, and I know, Liam, you mentioned this, it's a bit weird, but I sort of feel that that 7:30 on a Monday is a more losable game. And there's no sort of logic to that. But I think it's almost like because it's one of the last games, the shocks have already gone. And a team like Blackburn will just be professional and won't want to come a cropper like other teams may well have in the fourth round. So I do sort of feel...
Will we know who we will face in the draw by that time? I'm assuming that the draw will be
we will,
or whatever. Okay. Yeah.
That's also a bit of a kick in the balls, because if it is Liverpool away or something like that, Blackburn will want that game.
But surely that makes it then more exciting, and it adds to the value of it, and it adds to...
Well, if you lose.
Well, no, but if, let's just say, if it is Manchester City, then it gives both sides the same incentive. It's equally the same incentive. I think Blackburn will do cut price tickets for it. I think they will, because they're going to have to.
Yeah, especially now.
I understand the fume. I think the amount of fume was a little bit out of context, if I'm honest, because I was off the weekend. I'm now back on a different shift pattern. I will have to take a day off for it or swap a day. It's a mild inconvenience, but to me, that's all it is. I know everybody's personal circumstances are different. However, this is something we're going to have to get accustomed to going forward. It just is. But beyond the confines of the top flight, if you're going to get a team that's going to get you a decent viewership for that game, it's largely likely going to be us. It's just going to be us, and we all know why. But I just feel, God, I could go on about this forever. But I just feel that it wasn't that long ago that Wrexham were never on the telly, right? And we were taking it. We kind of almost feel like we're taking it for granted because we've got a streaming documentary and we're getting picked for this match or that match. Oh, we don't need to be on the telly anymore. Well, yeah, if you're going to grow it as a global entity, which is exactly what the owners are trying to do, then we have to suck it up. It's an hour and 10 minutes up the road, right? I know Monday's a shit night for it, but this is a nice special occasion. It's Wrexham in the FA Cup. Whether you want to go to your mate's birthday, your kid's first rugby match, a bar mitzvah, whatever, if you really want to go to a special occasion, you'll make reasonable adjustments to get there. I don't want to sound like I'm being a spoilt brat or unreasonable anyway. I just think that it's not Bournemouth away on a Tuesday night. It's
I'd love Bournemouth away. That's bloody easy to me.
It's even a 7:30 kickoff.
An hour and 10 minutes.
Even a 7:30 kickoff. Even if it's 10 minutes overtime, you're still overtime added time.
Look, can I just say about the 7:30
after 11? Oh yeah.
Yeah, even the 7:30 is a bit mingy. It's just if it was 8 o'clock, it just gives you that little bit more time to get there.
So you want a later kickoff on a Monday night?
Yeah, I do. Because if you're coming from Wrexham and you've got to drop the kids off, pick the kids up from school, just having that extra half an hour to get there on the M6, which can be a car park at that time, is just a little bit better. 7:45, 8 o'clock is just that little bit more insurance policy than 7:30, which just seems an abnormal time for. It's not the fucking trophy, is it?
That mingy scampi on a plate's rotted your brain. Are you going? Are you not?
Talk about food. Sorry, just quickly. I took the liberty of searching the Footy Scran Twitter account to see what the grub's like at Blackburn, seeing as we're probably going to have to eat there.
Share your screen.
It's all I can do is the old phone jobby. That is nachos and cheese. That is a handful of grated cheese on top of some nachos. So it starts badly, but then we got
Lancashire hot pots. That's what Blackburn's famous for, isn't it?
Yeah,
no, it's actually chicken tikka biryani that it's famous for. Yeah, that's decent. That and a beer for how much does it say? £8.50. That's not bad. Right. And then we do have the old pie mash and peas. It's not bad.
This is a very food.
Peas.
Pod.
Are you ready for the piece de resistance though?
Yeah,
16-hour slow smoked brisket peppercorn burger. It's a bit on the pricey side at £13.50, but
£13.50. Do I get a beer with that?
Right.
So obviously I'm driving and I need a beer.
They'll all be gone by 7:20, Andy. So you might want to get in there earlier for that game.
Yeah, all right.
Look,
last word on this. I was annoyed on Friday. I'm less annoyed now, and now I'm just into a mode of how can I do it rather than
You'll do it.
But the thing is, I just wanted it to be a good weekend where all the London Reds could all come up and we have a really good night.
Selfish. It's a Monday night. Fucking enjoy it anyway. You know,
London's crap anyway. I've always said
it is crap. And you do realise you can get from London to Blackburn in 4 hours. You'd be fine, more than fine.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't do it on the train, so I'm going to have to drive. And if I have to drive solitary, it's not great. Anyway, never mind. It's where we are. I do agree with you on that.
In the interest, I feel left out in this very food orientated pod. I've got to say, I had a chicken katsu slice at the ground yesterday, and it was amazing. Amazing. Yeah, it was good. So I'm pretty sure they get them from the Village Bakery. I think I'm sure they're the spot.
Good link up.
Yeah, I think it is. It was dead nice. So highly recommend the chicken katsu slice. Doesn't involve any knife or fork. Just get it down. Yeah, good stuff. Anyway, let's get the elephant out of the room. this is going to be slightly painful. I'll be honest. Book of Okonkwo, I shelved it last week. I've brought it back, and only I made a guest appearance on the Two Beards One Podcast and Wrexham FC podcast this morning with the two guys from Australia, wonderful gents they were, and it was very enjoyable. And they brought up the Okonkwo thing, and they said, "Oh, I was listening to something on the radio, and I thought there's no way you can probably get Okonkwo in this song." And I was like, "What is it?" He gave me an Elton John song. I mean, I got no quarrel with Elton John. I'm not a massive fan. You've been to see him,
No one ever
haven't
said you did.
you? Have you been to see him? I kind of want to say you have.
I did. I went last year, yeah, to his farewell tour. I'm looking forward to his next farewell tour next year.
What was his farewell tour like?
It was fine. It was just him sitting by a piano. It was it was a pretty good spectacle, and he can still sing. So I think he wants to go out when he's still got all his faculties.
What's your favourite Elton John song?
I quite like Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Tiny Dancer sticks in the mind quite a bit.
What's your least favourite?
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of I'm Still Standing.
It's none of them. Liam?
Favourites is probably Tiny Dancer.
You like Sacrifice, don't you?
Sacrifice. Yeah, that's the first and last
Vic
time.
Reeves Club
Well,
version. That.
funny you should say that. Because,
really?
Oh yeah, it's. He said, "Do you reckon you can do it to Sacrifice?" And I was like, "I'm not sure I can." So I spent a strong toilet stop at work trying to think this one through. You're gonna have.
What is a strong toilet stop? I mean,
longer than 10 to 12 minutes. Then when you get up and your legs start to get a bit numb, and you walk back to your desk like Elton John walks on stage for his last final tour. It's kind of like that, really. No offense to Elton. We're slagging off. I'm not slagging off Elton because Ryan and Rob are probably good friends with him, specifically Ryan. So shout out to Elton. We do love you, really. You might not love me after this. Right, let me go with this now. Okay. It's bad, but you're gonna have to go with it. I'm gonna have to play it from the top, just for clarity. Liam's getting in the zone. Right. There's it's a bit of context around this as well, It's about not sacrificing the wage bill to get Arthur in, okay? Okay, building up to it. Andy's not putting his hands in the air. Nothing. Get the lighters out. This is going to get lots of views on YouTube, this, okay? Whoa. Deep breaths, Edwards, deep breaths. Come on. Come on. There we go. Come on. Channel your inner Elton. Here we go. Okonkwo, main man in goal. Something's looking better, baby, when you're so tall. And it's no sacrifice, just the way we feel. Our hearts hoping for a 5-year deal. But it's no sacrifice. No sacrifice. It's no sacrifice to entice. Okonkwo. Beautiful.
Oh, I like the 5-year. I like the 5-year deal bit, but overall, I would rate that as scampi on a bit of lettuce.
I mean, look at the lyrics. Okonkwo, man in goal. Some things look better, baby, when you're so tall. And it's no sacrifice, just the way we feel. Our hearts open for a 5-year deal. But it's no sacrifice. No sacrifice. 'Tis no sacrifice to entice Okonkwo.
I'll give it biryani and beer.
I mean,
no Nando style chicken.
Like, unlike, comment, don't comment, subscribe, don't subscribe, but please be kind. I got nervous building up to that. Then I wanted to do Elton justice, and I didn't know whether to go on the high notes or the low notes. So I went.
Yeah.
I was reaching. I had to squeeze the old Joe Lewis 1 and 2 to get right in there, to be honest. So,
Right.
anyway, thanks,
Okay.
Bucket Okonkwo. You can go away again for another week or two, perhaps.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Away from the men to the ladies. Wrexham women winning ways again.
Is that league? Are they back in the league now? Because they've been in the cup for a bit, haven't they?
Yeah, back to the league form. 1-0 at the Rock today against Barry Town. I'm pretty sure it was Ava Suckley with the goal. Let me just double check. Yeah, Ava Suckley with the header. Another 3 points. Sets them up nicely now because, as I understand it, they now it's like a sort of South Wales derby double header this weekend. Obviously, we play Newport at Rodney Parade on Saturday, and the women go to take on. Please tell me it's Swansea. I kind of want to say it's Swansea because they played at Cardiff. Yeah, it's Swansea, isn't it? I'm almost convinced it is. Is it?
No, I thought they've already played at Swansea because Reece went.
See, this is where it all goes tits, isn't it? I should have checked this before and I couldn't find
I'm
it.
looking now, mate. I'm looking now.
Adran Premier.
Yeah, it's Cardiff City
It's Cardiff.
on
Okay,
the
yeah.
21st, 10
So-
past 5.
Forgive me. So I know a lot of people are sort of stopping down there after the Newport game and then going to support the ladies against Cardiff because obviously Cardiff, their nemesis is to a certain extent. I think they've had Wrexham's number twice this season, one in the cup, one in the league game at the Rock. Big test, go into it winning ways. Got a lot of key players out, so it'd be interesting to see how they get on there. I think there's quite a few people go into that as a double header, so a good weekend in the capital for both those. So good luck to the women. Hopefully, it'll set them up nicely should we get a cheeky win by doing the double over Newport County.
I'm going. You know how much the How much you reckon the train from London to Newport is? The duration is 1 hour 36 minutes. How much would you pay for that return?
Well, I'm about to pay about, I think it's 64 quid on the train. And the only reason I'm getting the train is because it's 2.5 hours, it's direct, and I'm in work the next day, and it beats a 4-hour trip on a bus. But I may change my mind, and I'll probably end up on a bus, but we'll see. I reckon from London to Newport, London prices, isn't it? What's the train provider? What's the rail provider?
I don't know. Anyway,
I'm
it was
gonna-
89 quid.
Oh, fucking hell.
So
Beechin's got a lot to answer for.
so went on the National Express coach, £4.90 out there, £6.80 on the way back.
Are you getting that?
Yeah, I'm getting that. It's going to take 3 hours, but it's straight down the M4.
You'll be retiring in a few years, these freebies and your cheap fucking mega bus pound deals.
Can you
and all
take any
sorts.
cans on one of those buses? Or what?
Well, we're going to find out, aren't we, Liam? if I get stuck at Swindon Services because
flasks.
I hope you're sat next to an absolute beast that gives you no elbow.
I will be. It's Lewis from the London Reds. So.
Not the Lewis.
That Lewis.
Angry Ginger Lewis. Wow, that's a long journey with him.
No, it's not. Lewis is fine.
He's a menace. We get him a few beers down him. He won't be coming back with you. That's for sure.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, you know exactly what I mean. Anyway, let's before we start wrapping things up because
we're not rapping as well, are we? Fucking hell, we've already sang.
It's no sacrifice, something like that. What would Elton John's rap name be? Out of interest. Nothing. The lack of thought process going into that, and my dog is whinging at me because I basically
they heard sacrifice.
Yeah, it's not a good one.
Right, come on, let's wrap this up.
Yeah. Okay. So Newport. Big. I always still think it's a big game. It's nice to do the double over them. They go into it with a win as well. What are you thinking?
I think a draw. I think we've got to a stage now where a draw's not the worst result. It's a derby, so even though we are way ahead of them in the table, I think at their place they are not going to give us an inch, and I'd be more than happy with a 1-1 draw. I think we'll take the lead, and they'll equalise late on, put us under some pressure.
You're paying 10 quid on a shit long megabus and you want to get a draw.
I don't want to get a draw. I'm just being pragmatic. Reece isn't here. I don't.
Pessimistic is what you're being.
No, I mean, you just get to that stage where you win so many that you think a draw is not a bad result. And my de facto sort of thing away from home is get a draw, win your home games.
de facto.
Did you invent that? Did you?
Does that mean default? That's just it's a posh word for default, isn't it?
Yeah.
De facto. Okay. Right. Away from Gilpin Towers, Liam. What did you said a draw, didn't you, Mandy? Okay. Liam, what are you thinking?
I was going to say a draw, but I don't want to agree with Scampy Lettuce Man too often on this podcast. So I'm going to say we'll snatch a late winner 2-1 to Wrexham. McLean with the goal. Don't ask why. I just made that prediction.
Yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it? Out of all the people you want to score against Newport, him. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, fuck him. I love. Yeah, we're going to do the double. I think they'll give it their all again. I just think we're getting savvy to it now. I still think we're due a kind of cut loose win. I'm not sure that'll be the one, but I'm going to go 2-1 Wrexham. Yeah, I think Mullin on target again and Lee, Bezzy mates to be on target. So sets us up nicely for the Blackburn game, which we will discuss in depth, hopefully with some semblance of a guest, because it's been a while. So apologies for that. It is free, but if you want to sponsor us, the buy us the coffee thing is in all of our link tree things. So go on there and give us a bit of cash. That'd be lovely. But don't feel the need to, but it'd be great if you can. Anyway, we've prattled on long enough. I've sang. Andy has done his best Ainsley Harriott kind of impression on his culinary delights of the Mould Road stand. Not the Mould Road stand, Wrexham Lager stand, I think, was it? It was the Mould Road stand. It was one of those. He's just gesturing.
He's now changed to sign language.
He's like, don't mention it. I wasn't there.
He said lettuce pray, I think.
No, it was the Daily Star's got a proud history with lettuce. It was the 1864 suite in the Macron.
Very, very, very fancy. Very nice. Lovely. Okay. I think that about covers everything we wanted. There was a bit of news on the COP as well, Liam. I don't know if you want to update anybody on that. That's just basically all the I's are crossed and T's dotted, as they say, isn't it? I think that's now going ahead as initially planned.
Yeah, it was always going ahead, but with the reduced capacity due to the phosphates, people's poos and shits, that's now up to full capacity. So whenever it does get built, apparently people were saying that Humphrey Carr said most of the barriers have now been removed. So hopefully we should get cracking soon, but it'll be able to open with 5,500 spectators peeing, pooing as freely as they want to.
Okay. Wow, there's been a lot of swearing in this one. Can we just apologise to all our child?
Our child what?
Listeners.
Our younger listeners.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Right, I'm going to leave you with this.
Go on. I've got one more thing to do. Oh, what's he showing us now? He's showing us more food.
Just leaving you with that.
Yeah, it looks like gruel. Turn it off. Take it off. Prison food. Sorry.
Nice lemon there.
Yeah. Anyway, just want to wrap this up. I want to give a shameless shout out to my friend Neil Smith.
Yeah, well done.
At WXM Smith. He is going to be walking from Denby to Old Trafford Theatre of Dreams, or Screams in recent years, it must be said, in memory of his brother who sadly recently passed away, Chris. Please go to his Just Giving page. If you go to at WXM Smith, there's also the Remembering Chris Facebook group. But yeah, Neil is on Twitter. His Just Giving profile's there. Already smashed his target, but always good to get more, really, because he's raising cash for Mind, a very important mental health charity. So please go and give to Neil, because he's a great guy. He's a top Wrexham fan, and he's got a very luscious ginger beard.
Good luck, Neil.
Yeah.
Good luck, mate.
Good luck, Neil. And basically wear those boots and socks in. It's a good old trek. So yeah, good luck to him. And on that note, we shall disappear. And thanks for listening. Enjoy. Sorry about the singing, and we will see you all next week. Take care.
See you guys.
Up the Scampy Reds.